The weapon itself may provide sufficient direct pressure to restrict the flow of blood. Don't remove it. Hold it in place.
You guys have any idea as to where the officers are at?
I don't know. This is the location they gave us.
Well, why don't you check with your dispatcher and make sure this is the correct address? And then why don't you continue in this way for me? I'll cross the street and check behind you.
Sounds good.
Okay.
When you do call for assistance, be specific about your exact location and injuries. Lying on a stomach wound lets the weight of your body apply pressure while your hands stay free to control the suspect and update communications.
20R. I'm up on the upper deck, East National, by the tracks.
10-4-20R. Ambulance has been sent. All units responding to 20R's location, be advised he is on the upper level near the commuter tracks.
Go for it. I'm gonna blow your brains out.
As you continue your deep breathing, commit yourself right now. I will survive.
What made me survive was I didn't give up. When you give up, you die. It's just that simple. You have to just pull that strength from within you, either through fear, through the desire to go home to your family, or through hatred.
Three things kept me going during that thing. The first thing was the conscious effort to keep after this guy. The second thing was I just don't like to lose. And the third thing was that the people that lived in that house were friends of mine. If I didn't have enough of a responsibility as a policeman, I had an even bigger responsibility as a friend. So I just kept on, and it worked out.
When they finally took me to the hospital, I was in bad shape. I had a blood pressure of 60 over nothing. I was literally dying right there on the lawn. I was scared to death. I remember one of the things I said to my partner when she caught me when I fell. I said, "Please don't let me die. You know, don't let me die here." They got me to the hospital, and they performed emergency surgery on my chest to try to reinflate my lung and to try to draw some of the blood out of there. And one of the things I remember out of the whole thing was seeing a priest come in and give me last rites. I'll never forget that. I remember him looking at me, and I remember looking up at him and seeing that white collar, and I just said, "God, I don't believe it. I just don't believe it." And I remember him just making a cross on my forehead and giving me last rites.
In my mind, I'm never going to die in no ghetto. Absolutely never. If a man turns around and punches me in the head, the fight's on. If he cuts me, the fight's on. If I'm shot, the fight is on. I'm not losing no fight to no scumbag out there in no ghetto. Period. That's it. No son of a bitch out there is going to get me. The only way he gets me is cut my head off, and I mean that. I'll fight you till I got a breath left in me. I don't think any of those animals in that street can beat me. And I've gone that way for 18 years of street service, street duty, and that's the way I'm going to keep on going. You don't lose the fight.
After my partner died, I had a lot of calls where I came across edged weapons that people had in their possession, concealed, even as work tools. You just look upon these knives as differently, or I do, than prior to the incident happened.
It gets worse, you know. It doesn't get any better. It just every time you think about it, it gets worse. I just wish it never happened. Just don't take a knife for granted. It's a big mistake. It's a really really big mistake. It might be the worst mistake of your life. Might be the last one you're ever able to make.